Just talking about the season today and then the championship game come this Saturday, and then we'll open it up to questions. So if y'all are ready, we'll go ahead with Coach Brohm.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Well, without question, we're excited about this great opportunity to go down to Charlotte, playing the ACC Championship game against a tremendous undefeated Florida State team that's it's been just really fantastic all year long. They've got a ton of talent. They're well coached. They've been able to win every game, close games, blowouts, you name it, but they find a way to win. So I think they just know how to dig deep and figure this thing out. And because of it, they've earned the right, to be an undefeated team in this conference championship. And we're excited to have the opportunity to play them. And I think our guys understand that, it's going to take a lot of work this week. We've got to improve on a lot of things. This past week didn't go as well for us as we would like, and there's a lot of things to learn from it. And that starts with me and our coaches, and we've got to get better at a few small details that hurt us this past week and make sure we make those corrections and help our players be in the best position to succeed. But I know our guys will be jacked up and excited to play in this type of environment and level of competition, and it'll be a tremendous test for us and measure exactly where we're at.
All right, Coach, we'll open up for questions. CL Brown.
Jeff, how big is a game like this in terms of building the brand of Louisville football nationally?
Without question, it's a huge football game for us, and we're now in the national spotlight against an undefeated opponent that has a great chance of making the playoff. And for us, we've got to prove our value, and we've got to go out there and make this a competitive game, give it our best shot, come ready to play, prove that we're a capable team, and do it for 4 quarters. And I think, anything can happen if you come prepared and you, play your best for 4 quarters. And that's what we want to try to do. But we know against, this type of team that the margin for error is very small, and that we've got to, really have a great week of practice and attack this thing head on and be really sharp come game time.
And just if I could follow that, is this kind of the next step too, in terms of making appearances in games like this and establishing, again, the Louisville brand? So, you get in more homes, recruiting and all of that kind of stuff.
Everything matters without question. And, when you get to play on national TV in this type of game, people are watching, and they're going to see how you play and what you're about, and how tough is this team, and what type of style brand of football do they play, and I want to be a part of it, and I want to watch it. And so I just think everything matters. I think I know that, from my experience, our coaches know that we've got to really be sharp, and we've got to make sure we take advantage of this opportunity and represent, this conference in the right way, and make it a very competitive game, and try to get this thing in the 4th quarter.
Alexis, you're next.
Hey, Jeff, you'll be in a conference championship for the 2nd straight year. I guess, what did you learn, or what did you take from being able to get Purdue to the Big Ten championship that has helped you guys this season to get where you are?
Well, we learned a lot of lessons last year and playing at Purdue, and definitely going to the Big Ten championship game. We were able to face an undefeated Michigan team, and if I'm not mistaken, it was 14-13 at half. We had played some really good football, and unfortunately we came out in the second half and, we turned the ball over, and then they hit some big plays on us. And, that kind of, sent the game in the other direction. So the margin for error is so small. And when you play a team that is undefeated and very efficient and knows how to win and does all the small things correctly, you've got to figure out a way to do that for 4 quarters. And I just think even this year in our regular season, the 2 games we lost, we were not as sharp. We had 3 turnovers in both games. We gave up big plays on defense. This past game, we were not great on special teams, and just all those things matter. And when you play really good football teams, you can't have those type of errors, or it's going to cost you. So we have to understand that it's going to be very hard to overcome anything like that when you're playing this type of team. We're going to have to really be sharp.
Matt Baker.
Hey, Jeff, when you've done your film study or initial film study on Florida State, what jumps out in particular about Mike Norvell's offense?
Well, they take advantage of their personnel very well. They've got big old tall receivers and they know how to throw it to them. And those guys can run, they can catch. The quarterback's going to give them a chance to make plays. You throw that in there and they've got a really solid offensive line. They got running backs that are really strong, run the ball, physical, don't fumble the ball, take care of it. They secure it as tight as any running backs we've seen in the way they run. So you can tell they're coached to do that the right way. And then they've had, two different quarterbacks come in and excel. And I know, if I'm not mistaken, Florida State played Louisville last year, and the current quarterback played in the game and brought him back to victory. So this guy's battle tested, and I just think that shows the type of talent they have. They utilize it well. They're really hot right now. They're playing confident. They know how to just find a way to win, no matter if they're playing their best or not, and that's a sign of great experience and really good coaching.
Jody Dimlin.
Jeff, you've played two big physical defenses 2 weeks in a row. Another one this week coming up with Florida State. What do you see from Florida State's defense and early on in looking at them and how they play?
Well, they're athletic, and that's not only just on the front line, which they're tall and athletic there, and they get after the quarterback, but very active at linebacker, really good in the secondary. Their challenge routes, and they make you beat them, and they make you earn, your points. So I just think you've got to really figure out a way to protect things up. You got to make sure your quarterback's jersey is as clean as you can keep it. You've got to figure out ways to move the ball multiple different ways. You've got to give them a couple of looks that they haven't seen before, and be very efficient doing it. And so I think that has to happen. And at the same time, our defense and special teams have to play well also. So I think all three segments really got to step up to the table and come through.
Corey Bozemer Media.
Good evening, Coach. Does FSU losing former Cardinal Jordan Travis at quarterback change your guys' game planning defensively that much, if any? And also, did you ever think your impact in your first year at U of L, your alma mater, would be as big as it has been?
Well, on Jordan Travis, that's a very generational quarterback. He has those Lamar Jackson skills where he's just athletic. He's smooth in the pocket. He can run and make plays, but he's actually developed great passing skills and was as efficient as anybody, playing football. So up for the Heisman and, probably had a chance to win it if he stayed healthy. So credit goes to him and those guys for developing him. But their backup quarterback has come in and done a good job. Now, he's not quite the runner and as elusive, but he's very efficient. You can tell he's played a lot of football, and he utilizes their weapons well, the tall receivers and the running backs and tight ends. So he does a really good job. As far as here, I try not to overthink things a whole lot. I came here with a purpose, and when you come back home, there's a lot of people depend on you to get the job done. So I take it seriously, and it bothers me when we can't find a way to win, and it bothers me if we're not playing up to par. And that's the way it should be. And I think that's what the fans want. They want somebody that cares and is going to make sure that we're doing everything possible to get it done. And so that's what we got to do. And so every loss bothers me. I'd love to have the game back last week, but it is what it is. You got to learn from it. And to be able to play another team of this caliber in a championship game gives us an opportunity to step up to the plate and see what we're made of. So, these are the type of games that if you put in the effort and you put in the time and you're sharp, you can really do. And if you put it all together and do something special, you can take a huge leap. At the same time, if you don't, it can be a punch to the gut and can get you back down to reality. So we've got to figure this thing out quickly and really take this week seriously and understand that if we don't come ready to play, this team will put it to us.
Good luck, Coach.
Thank you.
Michael Ferreira.
Coach, Michael Farrar here. Kind of a two-part question for you here. Your quarterback, Jack, has been, he's a veteran. He's been, to a couple schools and stuff like that. How do you think his experience will help him in a big game like this? And college football is so special. Can you kind of talk about how the fans have meant to you guys this in your first season with Louisville?
Okay, so Jack Plummer is a great young man. Really works hard, cares, wants to win, has played a lot of football. I think he understands his strengths, his weaknesses. We try to play to it. he can be very efficient at times, and other times, we just got to be really careful, making sure we take care of the ball. And I think he's tried very hard to do that. You can't play a perfect game, and we want to just get the most out of Jack as we can, and help him not have to carry the whole team on his shoulders, and use the running game and some other things to help him, defense, special teams, so he doesn't have to make all the hard throws. But he's done a really good job at this point, and I just think that because he cares and he's trying hard, the players see it and they respect that. As far as your next question was, our fans. You know what? I know this fan base I have for a long time. They're passionate about winning. They want to support a championship type level program. They want to compete against the best, but they just want to see a great brand of football, guys that are into it. They're trying hard. They're giving everything they got, and they're competing to the end. So I hope that we have provided that this year to a certain degree. While there's many things to learn upon, I want our guys to play hard and play tough and play smart and play to the end. And that's got to be the mantra that we build off of. And of course, as you develop talent and you continue to, get better as much as you can, you've got to lean on that as well. And this fan base was in full force for the Kentucky game. They did their part. Unfortunately, we did not do ours. But I think they saw a really tight ball game that went down to the wire, and we didn't quit. We kept playing to the end, but unfortunately just couldn't get it done. So, they want another shot this week at a great team. And, this is a great football team. So while we played some good football teams this year, this is the best team we've faced to date without question. They've proven it every week. They've got talent across the board. They're well coached, and they're playing as confident as anybody right now.
Coach, our next question comes from David Hale.
Hey, Jeff, I'm just wondering, in your early reviews of Florida State over the last couple of weeks, and as you mentioned, the game against Louisville last year, do you see much difference in what they're doing offensively, or how open they want to be offensively with Rodemaker at QB versus Jordan, or is it just a matter of a different skill set, a different experience level between the two QBs?
Well, you can tell they've opened up things from his last game against Louisville here. I thought they were a little more conservative, and they tried to manage him and use the running game and throw those big receivers, and he did a very good job of it. Now I think he's got a better grasp of the system. He's been able to sit back and watch Jordan play, and also absorb the offense and get in there and play himself. And he feels confident in his weapons. You can tell. He knows how to throw the ball. He knows how to move when he has to. He gets it to his playmakers well. You can tell he's smart and understands exactly what the plan is. So, this is a good quarterback. And, while Jordan Travis is a generational quarterback, this quarterback here has played a lot of football, and he's been very efficient, and, he knows how to win ball games.
Matthew McGavick.
Jeff, over the last few games, the defense hasn't been as dominant as it was earlier in the season. And you mentioned in the post game yesterday how you thought it had been subpar over the Virginia, Miami, and Kentucky games. What do you think has been the primary difference over the last few games as to why the defense hasn't been nearly as efficient and effective as they were earlier in the year?
Well, I think we've got to make some corrections as coaches. So myself and our defensive coaches got to take some ownership and put our players in the best position to succeed. Now, I don't think that has happened fully. And because we've made some critical mistakes, I'm not going to put on the players, I'm going to put on us. So we've got to get that fixed. So whether that's simplifying things or understanding and teaching the details of the plan in more detail, or being more aggressive, less aggressive, I don't want to give away everything that we're going to try to do, but we've got to get it fixed. And when you give up a lot of big plays the last 3 games, you got to go back and see, why did we give them up, and what was the call, and how can we get that fixed? And then you got to go back and see what were the calls that have worked well, and how can we concentrate on those, and then add a couple of different wrinkles every now and then. So I just think, we haven't been as sharp. So obviously the teaching of the plan has not been as in detail as I would like. So as coaches, we've got to do a better job, and that starts today, and it's got to continue all week.
Next, we have Michael McCammon.
Hey, Jeff. Matt just kind of took my question, but another one that I have for you is that you guys have done really well focusing on this one game mindset, this one game season all year long. As this team is returning, following Saturday night's loss, what's been your thoughts, your reaction on how they've responded immediately to that loss?
Well, they're not happy, and I'm probably as unhappy as any of us. And I think that's, while it's no fun, it's healthy to be angry and unhappy for at least 24 hours. So we still want to let that sink in us a little bit and sting us, and really digest the plays we ran and what we could have done better and how and why. So that is the focus throughout the rest of today. And we're going to go through every detail and nook and cranny of it. And then our players' day off is Monday, and then they'll get rejuvenated, and we'll finally put it behind us, and we'll move on to the next game as we prepare for a tremendous opponent. But it's supposed to sting, and it's supposed to hurt, and that's sports, competitive sports at a high level. And eventually you just got to put it behind you because the next test is even is very tough.
Alexis.
Jeff, obviously you weren't here last year when the ACC had the Atlantic and Coastal divisions, but coming from the Big Ten that does have divisions, just curious your thoughts on this model this season without divisions and kind of going the top 2 winning percentage teams.
Well, I think if you asked a lot of people, that's the fair way to do it. And I think you're going to see probably most conferences going to that same format, to get your 2 best teams in the championship game. And, we're fortunate enough to be second right now and have this opportunity. But I firmly believe in that plan. And I know there's some tiebreakers that have to happen if things get close, because you can't play everybody now. But I do think it's the best route to go. And I think if you want to, try to get, teams from your conference in the playoffs, you want to, pit the 2 best teams against each other and hope that the pieces fall in the way they'd like.
Jody.
Jeff, the way you did the success you had in the transfer portal last year and in your first year and coming here in early December, do you change the way you attack it moving forward as you get ready for obviously this week's game, but then next week when the portal opens, do you change how you attack things or kind of your game plan going in? And then the second part of that, the next month does get kind of crazy. How important is it for you and your staff over the next month to not only coach your team for this game and a bowl game, but to also build the roster for the future?
I think everybody has probably put a lot of time and effort into recruiting to this point as they're trying to win football games, and they've got staff and people assigned to making sure we're on top of the portal. And when things break and activity happens, you got to be on top of it. And without question, it's our job to improve our roster every year, and that's just kind of how the rules have been set up. I didn't make the rules. The rules have been set forth for us, and we have to adapt to them. So being on top of the portal, making sure you understand in the end who's coming back and who maybe isn't coming back, and maybe what positions can we get a little bit better at or provide some more competition at. We've got to do it. And it definitely helped us this past year. Even when we brought in guys as late as after spring practice, that was very beneficial to our team. So we'll continue to be active. That's the way college football is set up. And we want to make sure that we, for guys that want to be here and play at a high level, we want to provide them with the best teammates they can to help them win.
Islam, go ahead.
Thanks, Kevin. Coach, I know talent and execution win football games, but does a conference championship game, is there a different kind of element to this? It's week 14 of the season. It's a neutral field. There's not as much advanced scouting involved. Does it put a little bit more onus as a head coach, you have a little bit more control, exertion on the outcome of a football game like this?
Well, I think championship games are a lot of fun for not only players and teams and schools, but for everybody involved. For one game, you get an opportunity to put yourself out there and try to say that you're the champion of your conference. And for us to be able to play a team of Florida State's caliber after the year they've had, have an opportunity to try to beat them in the conference championship game would be huge for us in our program. So, between now and then, we've got to, put our head down and go to work and see what we can figure out to try to put a plan together to see if we can knock this great football team off. So, they're a lot of fun because, it's basically the end of the year other than the bowl game. And, if you can find a way to win, you can really create some attention and some momentum for your school. So we're going to work hard to try to do it.
Gary Graves, you were next.
Yeah, Jeff. Even though Jamari and Jawar have been injured, they're still contributing. What things have you seen from them to kind of adjust and come back from those injuries and still be part of the offense?
I'm proud of both Jawar and Jamari. They're great teammates. Both guys have had significant injuries during the season, and they've tried to practice through it. They've tried to play through it. They've played when they haven't been 100%. And, every team is going through the same thing, but these guys, haven't shut it down. And it hasn't been a scenario where, hey, I'm going to play when I'm 100%. No, these guys have played way before they've been 100% and tried to give back to their team. So that's all we can ask. And I think the teammates respect that about them. There's probably a few others doing the same thing as well. But when you love the game and you love your teammates and you want to try to do something special, you're willing to, give it everything you got. So, those guys, I think hopefully every week can get healthier and healthier and contribute more and more and help us win games.
Go ahead, Chris from Herb FM.
Hey, Coach. This is Chris Idell from Harbison Radio in Baltimore. Congratulations on winning. I talked to you last year when you were at Purdue. So this year I was talking to you in Louisville. So what is the thing you brought from Purdue to make you guys, make Louisville be so successful this year?
I think I've been fortunate enough to be a player for a while, assistant coach for a while, head coach for a while, a lot of different spots. Had the opportunity to go to Purdue and for 6 years and try to help elevate a program that was not doing as great as they would like for quite a while. And I thought we made some really good strides and progress. And, we found a way to get the tables turned with the team we had and then adjusting the team every year to try to make it better. And it was work. I mean, it's one of the reasons I took the Purdue job is because I knew I had to prove my worth going there. It wasn't, waiting for, Notre Dame and USC to open. It was going to try to help elevate a program that needed help. And that's fun to do. Now it's hard work and you've got to figure it out and be willing to withstand some gut punches every now and again that take you down. So I just think, myself and some of our coaches, we've been battle tested. We know what it feels like to lose. We know why we've lost sometimes. We know how we can try to get more out of our guys than we possibly can and maximize their potential in order to win. I think you have to think outside the box, have some creativity, take a few chances, and then, do what you do best. So because of that, I think we were able to win a lot of close games this year that we usually could have lost. But we hung in there and found a way to win enough to get to this point. So we'll continue on the same path and just try to keep getting better.
And if I could follow up real quick, Wilson, the wide receiver for Florida State, how good is he? He looks like one of those, he looks like Benjamin. He used to play there years ago. How tough is he to defend?
Well, he's really good. He's really big. He's really tall. So I don't know if we have anyone to match up with him as far as his stature. So that's what'll be the challenge is you've got to figure out, you need to double team him. If you single him up, is it off? Is it press? Is it press bail? Are we, just doing a couple of different things to throw him off? I mean, he's just that talented. And, when they get in one-on-one situation with him, they're going to throw him the ball. And even when he's covered, they're going to throw him the ball. They're good at it. And that's probably when he makes his best catches because he can catch the ball in traffic like no other. And then you throw on Coleman on the other side, and that's another big receiver. So, these are hard matchups. And you've got to scheme it up, and you've got to be able to take your chances when it's one-on-one and hope that they don't throw it to them, hope that they're running the ball or doing something different. And, they present a lot of problems.
Thanks, Coach. See you in Charlotte.
Thank you.
Coach, we have 2 questions left. CL Brown, you'll go ahead.
Jeff, how much of kind of a collective chip on the shoulder does this team have, knowing that, it's not like you have a bunch of star players that have kind of carried, the success this year of the team. And you might even have some critics who say the scheduling in the ACC played a part in you being able to make the conference championship game.
Well, our guys play with the chip on their shoulder, and they're hungry, and they have been all year. So I'll give them a lot of credit for that. They've wanted to win. They found a way to win close games. We've won some good against some good football teams as well, and then we played some really outstanding games overall a couple times that have been really, really efficient. So I think we know what we're capable of, and I think that because of that. We understand if we can put it all together for one game in 4 quarters, anything can happen. And that's what's special about it is, can you find a way to do that for 4 quarters, match up against a team like this, figure it out, be aggressive, take some chances, and see if you can, win the small battles of turnovers and penalties and all that at the same time. And as everyone knows, and just like rivalry week this past week, a lot of close football games against some teams that maybe the records weren't as quite as close. So anything can happen if you come ready and prepared, and our team will work hard, and they'll come out with something to prove, and hopefully we can hang in there for a good while.
Yeah, does this team have anything to prove to you? I mean, do you feel like anything left to prove?
Well, I think you'd like to, the goal is always to play a perfect game and to be really efficient. And I think like I said, I think we had a couple games this year where, man, we were really efficient, but it's just hard to do against, really good opponents. So that's always the goal. And, you don't want to ever put it past your team that you can do it against, great football teams. So, that's when this thing gets really special and fun. And then you can have a feeling, in your heart for, the rest of your life that, man, we did something that no one thought we could do. So that's what the goal is. And I think these guys understand that, hey, we got one shot to win a championship. We fought our way into this game while we're playing a great undefeated opponent that has played outstanding to this point. It's a one-game deal now. And can we, just figure it out for one game and put it all together and then cut it loose from there.
All right. Our last question of the day comes from Ira.
Hey, Coach. Jarvis Brownlee's a guy that obviously started his career at Florida State and had some success here, and he's had success for you as well. Could you talk about him as a player? And when you have a situation like this, and I guess it's going to be more and more common now with the transfer portal where guys are going up against guys they used to play with, when you have those situations, do you talk them through that beforehand or just let them handle it if they're mature guys?
Well, Jarvis, for us, we just been here this 1 year, has been outstanding as far as great teammate, hard worker, true competitor. Unfortunately, about 4 weeks ago or so, he got injured, but until then, he didn't miss a snap and didn't miss a practice and really did some good things. But since the injury, he's been out for a while, and he just kind of got back this past week. It was the first game he played for maybe a month. Is he fully healthy? No. But he went out there and played. So hopefully we can get him a little healthy this game. But, he's got good instincts. He's played a lot of football. You can tell he's got swagger. And I'm sure he'll be jacked up for this game. So, we want to get him out there and let him do his thing and, let him try to win one-on-one battles and prove his worth and what he can do. But, he's a competitor. You just try to, build your team with, a bunch of competitors just like him that show up every day and do it in practice, and then it easily carries over to the game. And I think that's what you're always trying to get is guys that can do that every day and build on that. And he's definitely been a great competitor.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Coach Brohm, thank you for your time, and we look forward to seeing you in Charlotte this weekend.
Okay, thanks, guys. Y'all have a good night.